Hey y'all, just got a shipment in of my tan fur. So this year I sent most of my fur, I guess, that I had tan. Now I sent some off to have leather tanned, as I've done. Well, that was mostly beaver tails, really. But this batch of fur I sent to Sleepy Creek Tannery. They're in Wellsburg, Iowa, run by Ben Dieters. And I just, in looking through different tanneries, you know, I've sent stuff to Moyle and I've sent stuff to USA Fox, and I have no complaints with them. But just looking to try something different. I can't remember exactly how the prices shook out. They were really close as far as the per item price. And I kind of like Ben, his story. He's a pretty young guy, and you know, started out as a trapper and went to maybe a school in Montana to learn commercial tanning, and you know, that's what he's turned into his business is you know, one of the things that intrigues me about a lot of people that find a way to, you know, turn the trapping industry or the fur industry or even the hunting industry, you know, into their profession, I guess you could say. How people do that, and so that's one way that Ben has done. So I just briefly messaged him through Facebook and sent my stuff off and just got it back in. So we will bust it open and see. Honestly, I can't remember what all I sent. I know pretty sure I sent 3 boxes. Now, one thing I did that I don't know that everybody does is I sent this stuff on Gray Fox taped in the middle, like that. But I sent this stuff, most of it was salted instead of stretched and dried, just because salting is way easier than stretching and drying. Wasn't too bad at all there. So here's the rates. It was let's see, Bobcats, and I don't think I sent enough for any quantity discount on any of it. It was just a handful of different things. So Bobcat $24, Red Fox $19, Gray Fox $19, Nutria, I had a Nutria from when I was in Arkansas, $10, Raccoon $19, Coyote $22, Skunk $22, Otter $24, Possum, I sent 5 possums to get tan. You'd think I'd have thought better of that, but apparently. Possum $12, Muskrat $9, and then I sent 7 beavers, and I'm not sure. I had that on the other invoice. Anyway, I'm sure they were around that 22, 20. Oh, here we go. Here's the price list right here. So Beaver 1 to 5 skins is 26. I sent 7 skins, so that put me in the 24 bracket. So that's one thing. A lot of the other ones I think have a break from like 1 to 10. He's got a 1 to 5 and a 6 to 20. So I did wind up getting a break. I sent 6 Gray Foxes, 6 Raccoons, and 6 Beavers. So got a little bit of a price break there because of the quantity. So let's bust them out and see what we look like here. Nice Gray Fox. Man, you can see, I have people ask, heck, I may be able to show you. I have people ask sometimes about self-tanning, and I've done that with a few of these furs. This is a good one. So you can see this Gray Fox, I mean, that thing, it just drapes. Super soft, and not so much the fur side that's soft, but it's this flesh side that is nice and soft and supple. And just from what little bit of research and stuff I've done, I think one of the big keys to a tannery being able to do that, and you can kind of see it here, is in the tanning process, the hide swells slightly, and they will thin that hide. They actually call it fleshing. They got a fleshing machine, and they'll actually take and run that hide and just, I mean, they're shaving just a very small bit of that hide, But I think that's a major key in keeping that hide thin enough to where they can drum it and get it super soft. So there, I mean, you can see that thing just drapes very well. And this is one of my home tan ones from several years ago, and you can see, I mean, that neck is super stiff. You know, it doesn't really drape at all. I mean, it's hard, and some of that is my fault. I mean, I definitely could have worked with these more to get them softer, but I have since decided that the hassle and the work, I hate to say hassle, but the work that goes into tanning, you know, I could, what was it for Gray Fox, 19 bucks. I can send it off and have it turn out like that. That's pretty worthwhile to me if I do say so myself. There's a coon, so I did have a buyer for most of my bigger coons, so I wound up sending my smaller coons to get tanned, which is kind of a again, super soft. They don't. It's actually kind of a, I'm trying to place that smell, but it's not like an offensive hide type smell or something. It's more almost like a very faint, I hesitate to say, maybe like a chemical smell. So there's a bob. That's my bobcat over here. Here's a coyote. One of our fancy Georgia coyotes. You can see it's kind of rubbed there in the shoulder. Honestly, I'm not sure what happened right there. But not the. That is certainly a coyote that I wouldn't have gotten any money for sending to the, you know, sending off the sale. But you know, one of the reasons in me doing this, you know, just like with the leather stuff, is I'm trying to come up with something. You know, I've got this leather, heavy duty leather sewing machine, and just trying to come up with something to, in effect, I guess, kind of make my own market. So that's, you know, I figure I can still, you know, use a section, a couple of, you know, specific sections of this hide to make something out of, and you know, avoid the couple of bald patches. Still pretty darn ugly coat. But if you had, you know, if I break that little section out right there and can do something with that, that's not a bad, you know, that's a nice little section of fur. There's nothing wrong with that. Nice little section right here too, especially when you get off on that kind of that edge. You got a little bit of that black tip fur. Beaver, this is a super small beaver. Man, that's nice. And you can see when you get a good quality tan, you get that white fur, or that white hide. And like I said, that's as soft as the fur side is. To me, I'm no expert in fur quality or tanning quality, but to me, that's one of the things that I take away from a good quality tan is that nice white soft. God, that's ugly. Man, that coat is terrible looking. I don't know what the heck I was thinking sending that sucker off. Just really rough looking on the backside. That, like chupacabra or something. I'll do a little more vetting before I decide what I'm going to ship next time. I thought I had a couple of decent coats in here. Let's see if this one looks like not a bad one. And that's a pretty coat right there. Got kind of the chevron on the back. Nice looking fur, no bald, ugly spots. Look at that pretty white belly. That's definitely a coat. Wow. That coat looks like it's got the mange. I don't know what I was thinking there. Beavers, one of the things I'm thinking about doing, I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw some people made some koozies out of beaver. And so that's what I was thinking with these beavers. I may try to make some koozies and see if y'all got any ideas, hang on, my battery's fixing to die. And if you've got ideas on, things that you think would be neat made out of fur, and I guess part of me thinking is, in the South, we don't have the best quality fur, but I mean, if you make something out of this, other than a coat, what I was thinking is, in the South, we don't have much call or need for wearing a full-on fur coat, but nice kind of reddish looking beaver, but just thinking, I've been trying to think of some other things like the koozies, like throw pillow, something like that. Just some different things that people in the South would still maybe use, that we could do something with our fur. And man, I would love to keep Southern fur in the South, or just U.S. fur in the U.S. from kind of, in a sense, kind of controlling our own destiny as trappers versus relying on an auction house or whoever, somebody else to send our stuff overseas and never see it again. To me, it would be, we've got an awesome story to tell if we could. Man, look at that red fox. Now how are those? I don't know how those are as cheap as they are right now, but that is pretty. But to me, to be able to tell the story of what we as trappers do in harvesting this, and then if we can have it in use locally as well, that's just a neat idea to me. Maybe I'm dreaming, but to me that's a neat idea. There's a nutria. Got a few of those, a couple of those tan. That's more of that'll put me at 3 of them, so I'll probably try to do something with that too. But that's just something. When I was in Arkansas, there was a fair number of nutria out there, and luckily, thankfully, that's not something that we contend with here in Georgia, as being an invasive species like they are. But that was definitely something that I wanted to kind of save as a memento. There's our nice old possums. And if you didn't know they were possums, you'd be like, man, that's pretty nice little fur there, Let's see, I'm out of table space here. Here we are with some bobcats. Look at that, very typical. I mean, if you watched my videos lately, my Texas trapping videos, you saw the nice wide bellies that some of those Texas cats have. I mean, this is very typical of an eastern bobcat. Just kind of a drab back, and you've got your white and your spots, but it's not near as bright, not near as wide and pronounced. But still a neat fur nonetheless. And they vary. Some of them are a lot better. This one's a little bit. That's a nice big. That's a nice big cat, and he's got a pretty nice belly. This is between the front. Well, this is between the front legs. Kind of fades out a little bit there. Oh, skunk! Turned out very white, did he? Oh, red, ugly-looking rascal. That's all right. I got no shortage of skunks to have tanned after my Texas trip, right? But I haven't got to my otters yet. Where my otters at? There's a nice coon. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I am no expert in fur by any means, a fur grader, but even for southern fur, we've got some nice fur. It may not be the top-notchest quality, but that's still a nice piece of fur that if somebody appreciates fur, to me, I think it's still something. Man, I love those gray fox. I have a hard time deciding which is prettier. The red fox just has a little bit more of that eye appeal right off the bat. Man, that gray fox is pretty to me. There's another coat. You can see we got a little rub in the shoulder. Maybe if I brush them, they'll look a little better. Them suckers are ugly. There's a bigger beaver. One thing I would like to do is get a couple beaver sheared and plucked. Those are some super neat soft hides. Here we go with our otters. Look at that. You got your pail. pale chest and all. Anyway, this is neat to me. I enjoy, seeing the fruits of your labor, right? I mean, going full circle, and then if I can take some of this and make something out of it that's useful, that somebody steps up and says, hey, I want to pay you for that. That's all the better. But off the bat, the first time using Sleepy Creek Tannery, and going through, I got a pretty wide mix of firsthand, and everything's turned out really nice. My lone muskrat. Bad thing about this, I didn't even kill it. I was doing a beaver job, and somehow this sucker was dead right on the bank. But I like, that muskrat. It's kind of like beaver, just not quite as thick. That's just a really nice soft fur. A nice good sized coon. And the other thing that I think is when with these coons, with the fur market, you can get dinged as far as the hides being blue, which you can't tell that they're blue from the outside. You can have a really nice looking coon on the outside, and the fur may be blue, but I'm pretty sure once it's tanned, or the hide, it may be a little bit early, but I'm pretty sure once it's tanned, it's a moot point anyway. So anyway, my one gripe, if I had to say gripe, and it's very nitpicky about dealing with Sleepy Creek Tannery, is they didn't accept credit cards. So it took me, whereas if I could have called them over the phone and paid with my card, I'd probably had this stuff last week, but I had to mail a check. I know that's getting pretty nitpicky, but outside of the one little thing, I mean, let's see, I sent this stuff off in May, and I think they got it done. The invoice was done in October. So May, June, July, August, September, October. So about 6 months. And then with me being in Texas and all, it's taking a little lag time. But anyway, I am super happy with how things turned out, and now I got to put some of this stuff to use. If you're interested, I mean, I'd definitely be, if you're interested in buying just tan fur, just a piece or two, let me know. Shoot me a message, and otherwise, if you've got some ideas on things that I can do with this mountain of tan fur, let me know, because I'm excited. It's probably going to be after this coming trapping season, probably sometime this spring, maybe before I get around to it. My beaver tail stuff I've been doing mostly the beaver tail wallets and things, and that's been keeping me pretty busy. So hopefully between trapping and kind of staying caught up on that, at some point I'll get a chance to break into some of these furs and start working on them. And I'm excited to roll something out and get some ideas from what y'all think, and come up with some new products. And man, maybe with y'all's help, we can work on, at least my long-term goal would be to somehow come up with some kind of our own fur market somehow, that we I don't have the scale to do anything that big, but a long-term vision, that is something that I've always thought about and would like to see, especially trying to bring some better value to our southern furs. So anyway, leave me a comment, shoot me an email at Chris at Coyote Trapping School. Let me know, and we'll catch you next time. So here's a little bit up closer look. Maybe that'll give you an idea. There's the gray foxes, bobcats, nice cherry reds. I don't care what you say, that's pretty. Nice old raccoon there. Got my otters, and I love an otter. The little muskrat, beavers, and you can see, let's maybe show
You see that nice, pretty white that I was talking about on the hide side. To me, that's what really shows a good tanning job. That nice, pretty white. Got a couple of beavers there on Nutria. Nutria got some. It's kind of coarse, but it's thicker fur. There's your pretty old possums there. And then, I reckon that's a red clay stained skunk. Kind of fitting, I guess. I wonder if I can get some of that out. Anyway, there's a nice pile of fur there.